So a grizzly walks into a bar and sits down, and the bartender comes over to him and asks, "What would you like to drink?" And he says, "I'd like a Coke." And the bartender says, "Okay, but why the big pause?" And the grizzly bear goes, "I've had him since I was born." So, you know, we could all use a lot more humor in life. Like, religious circles seem to have the stereotype of being extremely somber and serious. And there's probably some places where that is the case. But God wants us to laugh. He wants us to be joyful. So here's a quick little collection of jokes that will make you hopefully go ha ha ha, even if they just make you go ha ha ha. I mean, it'll still be good, because you'll still be laughing. So let's go! Why can't a pirate make it through the ABCs? Because they always get lost at sea. What's a pirate's favorite food restaurant? Arby's. What's a pirate's favorite Indiana Jones movie? Raiders of the Lost Ark. What's a pirate's favorite pastime? Arguing. What's a pirate's favorite city? Arlington. What's a pirate's favorite letter? The C. So the guy who wrote the Hokey Pokey died last week, and the funeral didn't quite go as everyone expected, because they were lowering him into the casket and they put his right leg in. What do you call somebody running in front of a car? Tired. What do you call somebody who's running behind a car? Exhausted. So a teenager is rushing to the hospital and he yells out to this old man who's crossing the street and he says, "Hey grandpa, what's the fastest way to get to the hospital?" And the old man responded, "Call me grandpa again." So I was walking through the garden of a mental hospital and I heard a group of people chanting 13, 13, 13, 13. Now fortunately there was a very large knothole in the fence, so I was able to peek through it. All of a sudden somebody poked me in the eye. And then everyone started chanting 14, 14, 14, 14. So a snail goes into a car shop and asks for a large S to be painted on each side of his car. So the painter finishes the job and then as he's handing the keys back asks, "Why did you want a big S painted on each side of your car?" "Because I want whenever I drive by a group of people, them to all go, 'Look at that S car go!'" So Robert has broken into a house and is busy stretching the TV off the wall when all of a sudden he hears a quiet voice whisper, "Jesus is watching you." He looks around, but doesn't see anyone. As he continues, he hears it again louder. "Jesus is watching you." Spying a birdcage, he walks over to it and asks the parrot, "Were you the one saying that?" And the parrot looks up and replies, "Yes." Robert's a bit taken aback. First of all, that this bird is so intelligent, and second of all, that it would say that Jesus was watching him. So he asks the parrot, "What's your name?" "Moses." "Moses? What kind of people would name their bird Moses?" "The same people who would name their Rottweiler Jesus." "I will not sleep until I find a cure for my insomnia." Knock knock. "Who's there?" "Interrupting cat." "Interrupting cow." "Moo!" So I just finished reading The Hobbit, and now I understand what everyone was Tolkien about. Did you hear about how Doug crashed his car? He found out that Mercedes-Benz. Two guys walk into a bar, the third one ducks. What kind of teeth can you buy for only $1? Buck teeth. So a piece of string walks into a restaurant and orders a chicken fajita. Now the waitress comes to him and says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve your kind here." So the piece of string gets up and leaves. Goes into an alley, ties himself into a knot and frays up his head, and then he walks back into the restaurant. The waitress says, "Hey, aren't you the same piece of string we just tossed out of here?" And he goes, "I'm afraid not." Why did the can crusher quit his job? Because it was so depressing. Did you hear about the kidnapping? What? Oh, it's okay. He just woke up. What's big, green, fuzzy, and would kill you if it fell out of a tree? A pool table. A pastor, a rabbi, and a priest cross the road and enter a bar. The bartender says, "Please, is this some kind of joke?" Why did the hipster burn his tongue? He drank his coffee before it was cool. How many ADHD kids did it take to change a light bulb? Oh, hang on. A puppy. I have ADHD, so I can joke about these kind of things. So I heard this joke about paper, and I don't know if I want to tell it. It's pretty terrible. So I'm reading this really good book about anti-gravity. I can't put it down. I know a guy who's addicted to brake fluid, but he says it can stop anytime he wants. What do you call an ape covered in lemon and sugar? A orangutan. Whoa, did you hear about the fire at the circus? It was intense. What's loud and sounds like apples? Apples! You know you have a nosy pepper when it gets jalapeno business. What do you call it when a steer eats a piece of dynamite? Abominable. What's the difference between a well-dressed man on a tricycle and a poorly dressed man on a bicycle? A tire. So I was trying to throw a baseball to my friend in the fog, but I guess I missed. So a man is driving home from work after a particularly stressful week. His wife calls him and says, "Be careful, honey. In the news they're saying that there's a man driving the wrong way down the freeway." And the man replies, "One? There's hundreds." What do you call a deer with no eyes? No idea. What do you call a deer with no legs and no eyes? Still no idea. What do you call a deer with no ears, no limbs, no eyes in Rome? Deaf in Italy, no idea. After years of research, I finally developed a cure for apathy. But no one cared. You ever lay in bed at night, look up into the stars and ask yourself, who took my roof? Did you hear about the starving Roman who had to eat his cow? In the end, he was a gladiator. So a horse walks into a bar and the bartender says, hey, get out of here! A metaphor is like a simile. How warm is the inside of a tauntaun? Lukewarm. Ha 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 ha. That was a weird laugh. What did the ear hear? Only the nose knows. Two muffins are in an oven. One of them says, oh my goodness, it's so hot in here. The other one goes, oh my goodness, a talking muffin. You know, being a vegan is such a huge mistake. Rick is really nice, and he's a huge fan of Pixar movies, so he'll let you borrow any one. Well, except for one. He's never gonna give you up. Man walks into a bar wearing a hard hat and says, that was lucky. Did you hear the one about the 3 holes in the ground? Well, well, well. How do you catch a unique rabbit? Unique up on him. How do you catch a tame unique rabbit? Tame way. Unique up on him. And finally, why don't you ever hear any knock-knock jokes about eagles? Because, wait for it, freedom rings. Boom, boom, boom! Yeah! So there you go. I hope you were at least able to get a chuckle out of one of those. Maybe a couple of them you kind of laughed out loud. That would be really awesome. For the record, the reason this video is kind of a day late is simply because I have been extremely busy all week, and so I simply forgot to make one of these, which is why this story was jokes. But if you want a video that really will make you laugh, there's a comedian, Bob Stromberg, who he did this video right about here. You can click that video annotation thingy. And it's so funny. It's about when he was younger, their old film projector slide thingies. You gotta see it. Click on it if you have, 7 minutes. And it is so funny. And you will not regret it. And when I showed that to my family, the entire family was literally rolling on the floor laughing. Like, it was a little freaky, but it was so funny. So yes, you definitely have to click that. Okay, so yeah. Okay, one more. How does a Messianic Jew make his coffee? He brews it. He brews? Huh? Okay, that's all. I'm tired. I'm recording this really late at night. I'm gonna go to bed.